Hello everyone, and welcome back to Plan B Terraform. In between episodes I was going to redo the base and show you the end result, but it's going to be too big a change. You won't even recognize the place when I'm done, so I'm going to condense it a little bit, but show you clips and bits of what I'm doing so that it doesn't look completely different from when I left it before. So anyways, I started with the hub over here, started drawing the train tracks in. This is going to be so that I can have up to 6 truck stops delivering down the line here, so that if more than one thing uses mechanical parts, I can have 6 different truck stops deliver into each spot on the hub. This one right now I just have one spot, but by the end we'll have a whole bunch. So this one is going to be mechanical parts, this is going to be aluminum bars, and then there's going to be spots for the trains to turn around every 2 materials. So that's that, and then I drew over here, I decided to condense my mechanical parts, so basically all steel bars will be delivered here. These will just turn into mechanical parts and then I'll be able to ship them out here. Now I can add a whole bunch of them as needed, as well as a whole bunch of train stops in here to deliver the mechanical parts to wherever they need to go. And I started a concept of, I tried to put a steel yard in between my 3 cities. I'm not sure if this will work out, but basically all steel bars will be delivered here, so we can take every ore patch we find, manufacture steel bars at it, and have them shipped to the steel yard, and have trains that pick up steel yard from here and deliver it to where it's needed. That way I don't have to keep rearranging train stops. I only have to change where steel is being manufactured and delivered to here. Because once we set up a whole bunch of steel stops, it'll be a pain in the butt to change them all. So hopefully this doesn't get flooded. There is no blue lines in this area, but I don't know how accurate that map is. So anyways, I'm going to try that approach, see how that works out. Next up was expanding the hub a little bit, so I have high-tech parts set up, polymer bars, reinforced concrete, this is steel bars, aluminum bars, and mechanical parts. Not all being delivered yet, but ready to be set up for it. And I also surrounded the iron patch, made a whole bunch of steel bars. These are being delivered to the steel warehouse that we talked about previously. Same thing with aluminum. I deleted the road going to New Bangkok. Deleted the road going to New Bangkok, started a train line here. This town is now not growing because I cut off the reinforced concrete supply currently. But the aluminum here is right here. Basically a whole bunch of aluminum being smelted, delivered to the metal yard here, which was steel up here, aluminum down below here. Next up was high-tech parts. Did a little build here. They require aluminum and polymer bars. Aluminum's coming from the aluminum yard. Polymer is coming directly from right here. Little build just to handle what the high-tech parts need right now. High-tech parts are just being sent over to the hub right now. The high-tech parts for the city will be handled at each city, not here. And then reinforced concrete, it's going to be a pretty big build. I surrounded this one up here with just making concrete. And that's being shipped down to just above the steel yard here is a reinforced concrete manufacturing plant. So this is steel bars, these 3 are concrete, and then these are every other. So concrete, this is steel, this is concrete, this is steel. That way each machine has access to both of them. And this is just producing reinforced concrete. So finally we have to get that over to the city and to the hub, and then we should be ready to go. In the meantime, we actually accomplished the last goal. We rose the temperature 10 degrees. So happy days there. So let's get that stuff over to the city. Alright, so the city's hooked up now to the main train line here. Comes down this way. I just built some stuff for future expansion here, but because otherwise if you put a roundabout in and there was a straight line here, you cannot delete the straight line without repathing all the trains. Anyways, so I changed all these over to oxygen. I put a small oxygen plant in down here with plenty of room for expansion in the future. And then we'll probably bring in concrete over here, but I'm not going to bring in reinforced concrete until I'm ready to start the city growing again. There's no sense wasting the materials. The city's stable right now, so we'll just leave it be. It won't consume any resources like reinforced concrete, because that's a limited amount, whereas oxygen is basically unlimited. You can just keep producing it forever. So next objective is to reach population of 200 in our second biggest city. So we need to start a second city and get our population to 200. Zoom out here. I think we're going to go down to New Rio de Janeiro and turn our population of 3 into 200. So that wasn't too bad. New Rio de Janeiro is up and running almost. We have concrete here, and this is just all, again, temporary to say, because we're going to get this to the goal and then we're just going to abandon it for now and concentrate on growing the other city. So once we get past the objectives with the second city, we're just going to leave this one be for a while. But so anyways, this is concrete. We just need to put a train stop in here, have it deliver down to here, delivering concrete. One train can do 160 or something per minute or per year, so that's good enough there. And then oxygen, since we know that's going to need it next, even though it's not requesting it, we'll put it in because we know it's coming. Put that there. And oxygen, and again that's 148 per year, so that should be plenty for the first little bit. So all we gotta do is let the city grow now to reach the population of 200, and then make sure that it doesn't have any other requirements as it pops up. You can see right now it's just concrete, it's not even growing yet. So now it's got stable growth, or I should say stable with no growth. And finally it's growing. Annual demand is 11. And this one depot has a hard time unloading trains, but it should get us enough to get us through this portion. But that's why I have 6 of them down per resource going forward, because that way the drones can unload the trains much faster. But as you can see, we're building up a stockpile here anyway, even though it can only got up through about half the train. Alright, we've reached 100 people in our New Rio de Janeiro city. So now it's changed to reinforced concrete. So inevitably I had to draw a ginormous track. You can see it kind of in the gray here, all the way around the crater up to my reinforced concrete factory. I could have done it locally, but might as well just do it all the way up there and just do it in one spot. I wasn't sure which way was fastest, so I went around the mountain both ways to see which one it would pick. I'm not really even sure which one it picked, but we'll just have to follow a train and find out. So I line up a whole bunch of trains, and I'm just going to hit play again, and it's going to load these trains up. It'll take a while to get down there, but see if I can follow them. It's going down this way. So it's going to go down this way, all the way down here, all the way down, over, and you get the idea, all the way to our city here. So we'll let that run. It shouldn't take too long, and we should be at 200 in no time. Okay, so we're back and we're just about at the 200. We're 191 of 200. So we'll let it play here. You can watch it grow. It's growing a little bit here. Getting sizable, but we're about to leave it be for a while. There we go, 200. So now the next goal is to reach a total population of 3,000. To do that, we're going to go back up to our other city and work on that for a while. Just going to leave this be for now. But so that means New Bangkok, we got to hook up. It's currently requesting reinforced concrete and oxygen, and as soon as we hit that, it's going to request high-tech parts. So let's hook up reinforced concrete to this bay here, and then build a factory down here for high-tech parts. Okay, so reinforced concrete finally arrived at the city here. And as you can see, it's, click on a supply center here. It's now requesting high-tech parts because we hit the population cap where it requires high-tech parts. So we'll get to that in a second, but if we click on any cell in the city here, it gives us a summary of the city. Population of 1,000, status is stable, which means it's not growing, but it's not shrinking. And supply is limited because we aren't doing high-tech parts yet, but it's also added the requirement of city waste disposal. That's handled by a waste disposal center, similar to the supply center. So in order to make those, I just found the nearest concrete patch, which is right here. This one is making supply centers out of concrete. This is making waste disposal centers out of concrete. We don't need a whole ton of these, maybe 50, 60 of them. So we don't really need a dedicated line for it. We can just put it next to the nearest sulfur patch and call it a day. So now that those are being produced, we can, I guess we'll take this bay here and replace some of these with waste disposal centers. So now if I click on the waste disposal center, nothing's happening because we got to set these to metal waste. So let's set these to metal waste. I just set them to carbon just as a placeholder. I'm not sure. There we go. So it's moving. So it's taking out metal waste now and putting it on these pads. Now we got to deal with this metal waste. That requires a recycling center, which we do not have any of yet. So let's go over to our hub here and add our second manufacturing. So we need, let's go ahead and put the factory in so we know what we need. So I put the factory down. We actually want an assembly plant down. So an assembly plant making recycling centers. So it needs concrete and high-tech parts. So all we got to do is grab a truck stop and put it in one at high-tech parts. Send it over saying high-tech parts. And I have a concrete stop down here. The concrete's on its way. So let's add a concrete stop here and put it up here. Doing concrete. And we just need depots for those. This one's concrete. This one is high-tech parts. So just like that, with this hub here being here, we can easily just add stuff to it. And as the game moves on, we can just keep adding production lines to it. And then if we ever need to slow down production, we can just remove the truck from the line and it'll stop production of that item. So that's good there. So once those get produced, we will set up a recycling center over here. Then I will go over all this stuff. This is making polymer bars, which is going into the high-tech parts, but we'll go over that once we get the recycling centers built. Alright, now that we have some of those recycling centers built, let's put one down. I put one down already, but I'll show you again. Recycling center, and you click it. Then you got to set a recipe. I'm going to select steel bars, but you can see on the right hand side it actually makes steel bars and aluminum bars. So if you click on this, it takes in 30 times 3, so 90 waste per cycle, and it's going to spit out 30 items per cycle, which is actually going to be 20 steel bars and 10 aluminum bars. So let's first let's deliver the waste from the city over to the recycling center. Set that to metal waste. That'll get metal waste coming over here, and I'll start producing it into here. Now right now I have the steel bars. I just have them being shipped off to the steel yard for now until we figure out what to do with it. But the aluminum bars we can keep in the city here. So this spits out, this is steel, this is aluminum. So aluminum bars we can keep in the city and just bring them over to our high-tech part manufacturing. So aluminum bars there, so that'll set up deliveries of those. Now polymer bars, this is just carbon. Seems like an excessive amount for 6 machines, but it is what it is. There's 45 of these oxygen carbon producers for 6 of these. So let's deliver the polymer bars over there. Now to start with, the recycling center is not going to produce enough aluminum bars to keep this operating. So we will have to supplement it. That's why I put in this transfer yard here. So this is going to be aluminum coming in, and then so let's set up aluminum coming in first, then I'll show you. So aluminum coming in would be from our aluminum yard all the way over here. So pick up aluminum there, deliver it over to here. Set that to aluminum. So now it'll bring aluminum to here, and I'll set a train to deliver aluminum to here as well. And I'll just turn that train to 0. I think we can still do that. Let's try it. So aluminum from here to here. And now if I click on the line, I think I can just take it to 0. So that means it'll stop transporting aluminum from here to here. So if I end up with too much aluminum over here, I can just turn this train to 0, and the outside aluminum will still be brought in, but it won't be transported anywhere into this city. So that's why I use these transfer yards, just to control the flow of products. So if I end up with too much aluminum over here, I can stop bringing it into the city from here, and it will burn through this before I turn this back on. So that's really it. Then all we gotta do is set up high-tech parts to the city. Okay, so here comes our first delivery of aluminum from the steel yard, aluminum yard. Now, as you can see, the high-tech parts are missing aluminum bars right now because we're just not making them fast enough down here from the metal waste. So I'm going to add a train on, and it'll take some over to there, and then if I find it's too much, I will just turn this train back to 0, and it'll stop delivering, and it'll burn through what we have first. So easy way to manage since you can't really set a production limit on this stuff. And then what I did up here was I'm going to set temporarily high-tech parts to be delivered from here to here temporarily, just to get the city expanding. Eventually I want the city to grow and connect over here, and then I'll change this to high-tech parts. So as soon as the city expands, I will change this train stop to be over here, so that it's got 6 depots per material. So now it's green again, it's growing, so now all we gotta do is watch it grow and see when keep an eye on when this supply center changes to ask for something different. Alright, we've done it. We've reached a total population of 3,000. You can see up top here we have 3,009. So let's see what our next objective is. It's reach a population of 10,000 in your biggest city. And we've unlocked a whole bunch of stuff: nitrogen, water, NF3, and ice extractors. We'll get to those after we make sure we have enough to get to 10,000. So if we click on our supply center here, we can see that it did not add anything new to the demands. Just wants reinforced concrete, oxygen, and high-tech parts. Our current supply is requesting is 60. So I'm going to beef that up to, I don't know, probably around, be able to supply around 200. So I'm assuming that'll get me to the 10,000 mark. So I'm going to go through each one and make sure we have enough supply to handle 200 supply demand. So we'll start with oxygen. These produce 12 per cycle, so we'll need 17 of them. 15, 16, 17. So that should do oxygen for now. Let's make sure that we are delivering enough oxygen. This is only delivering 158, so let's add another train to that. Now it's 316, so more than enough. Okay, that one was easy, so next we'll do reinforced concrete. Reinforced concrete we're delivering at 138, so let's up the trains to 197. Let's do one for extra good measure. So 216. So 11 trains on this network. Let's make sure that we're supplying enough. So our reinforced concrete factory is way over here. And it looks like there's plenty of supply here. These make 30 per cycle, so 60, 120, 180, 210. So plenty to make 200. I guess we'll check our steel bar and concrete factories as well. Concrete is up here. Looks like there's plenty of concrete still going around, plenty of sulfur. Iron bars is down here. Got quite a supply down here too, so we're good there. We can check our steel yard too. And there's plenty of supply there. So reinforced concrete is good. We got trains set to deliver up to 216. So what's next? High-tech parts. High-tech parts, let's see, we'll need... these do 30, so we'll need 7 of them. So we'll have to add some of these. 5, 6, 7. Now they require 60 aluminum bars per cycle, so 60 times 7 is 420, so we got to make sure we're delivering 420 aluminum here, which is, we're going to have to up the trains coming in here, I think, to handle it until we get our metal waste going. So we'll keep an eye on that. I'll just up it quite a bit here. We'll see how much this is going to produce in a minute. And what else? Polymer bars, 1 per cycle, so 210. And these produce 30, so we just need 1 more of these. And I'll go through and I think we'll probably have to add a couple more of these. I'll just do it just out of precaution. Looks like we have plenty of supply, but one, two, that one can't be reached. Okay, so that's plenty of polymer bars. Now metal waste is currently at 90. You'll notice that this is 60 supply, so it's always 1.5 times the supply is how waste is calculated. So if this is 60, this is 90. So if I'm calculating, planning for 200 supply here, I need to allow for 300 metal waste. These handle 90 metal waste per cycle, so 3 of them would be 270, so that's more than enough. Now oops, I guess I put a 4th one down by accident, but oh well. So 3 of these will produce, this produces 10 aluminum bars per cycle, so 3 of these will be 30 aluminum bars per cycle. And what do we say we needed up here? A lot. So we'll have to bring in a lot of aluminum bars until this gets ironed out. So that should handle it. I think we can unpause it and let it go. Triple speed here, I guess, for a little bit. And then a couple things I wanted to do. I wanted to delete these. I don't want it expanding, the city expanding across the border here, so I'm just gonna put a block there. It can jump 1 block, but it can't jump 2 blocks, so that'll basically prevent the city from growing this way. It'll have to grow up this way, which we're almost connected here, so I can almost move those high-tech parts over. But so really all it is watching it, making sure the aluminum is getting delivered fast enough, which I'm pretty sure it's not right now. And making sure, let's make sure we get the steel out of here. So 75. So let's up a couple trains on that to make sure that's moving the steel out fast enough. And yeah, so it'll really just be watching this aluminum supply, making sure that it's coming in fast enough, and that we're still using up all of this down here. Because if this backs up, the metal waste backs up, and if metal waste backs up, this backs up, and then all of a sudden our city will stop growing because this will be backed up. So yeah, really, that was pretty easy. We're just waiting, watching it grow now. And we're connected over here finally. So now we can move this high-tech parts over to there. So I'm just going to change the destination to here. You'll notice the train does a couple loops before it actually picks up that it's supposed to be delivering there. But we have plenty of supply here in the meantime to hold it, I think. Let's watch it come back around, make sure it delivers to there. There it goes. So good, now we got high-tech parts. Once these are empty, I will change them back over to oxygen. But I want to make sure these get filled up before I do that, so that we make sure we have enough supply. So yeah, I think that'll do it for this episode. We're just going to let it go a little bit, and we'll get to the 10,000. We'll see what's next, coming next episode. Thanks for watching.